Now our next topic is arrays and pointers. So we'll be studying this arrays and pointers in very details. So first topic we're going to learn about arrays, what are arrays, how we declare an array, how we initialize an array, types of arrays are there, pointers, size operator, memory management. Here we're going to learn about dynamic memory allocations and all, everything we're going to study each and every topic. So let's jump in. So array is a data structure. So it is applicable for all languages. An array in C, C++ or in any programming language is collection of similar data items stored in continuous memory locations. And elements can be accessed randomly using the indices of an array. So if you don't understand what this whole statement means, I'll get through it. So they can be used to store the collection of primitive data types such as int, float, double, char, etc. of any particular type. We already saw that integer type, float type, double and character, these are the data types we use for normal variables. So how we connect with the normal variables and array, I'll get through it. Now this is how array is defined. Let's see what does every line means. So array is a collection of similar data type. One thing it's here, stored in contiguous memory locations, and elements can be accessed randomly using indices of an array. Let's talk about the first point, collection of similar data items. It means if I define an array, so it will store similar data types only. If it is storing integer, it is going to store integer only. You cannot store 7, then 9.1 here, 4.2 here, C character here or something. If you are storing character, you're going to store characters only. If you're going to store double, data type double, so you're going to store double only. If you are storing integer, you're going to store integer only. This is the meaning of this line. And it is stored in a continuous memory locations. What does that mean? So let's suppose this is the array element, first array element, this is the second array element, third, fourth, and this is the last fifth array element. One thing here to notice is two things are there for an array. First is index. Index of an array starts from 0. So this is the first element. First element index is what? 0. Second element index is what? 1. Similarly, it is going on. It means if an array has 10 elements, its index is going to be n minus 1, that is 9. Here, there are 5 elements. It means last index is going to be 4. Now, what does this continuous memory allocations means? So every element means it is given some space in the memory. And how we declare that array? We write type of that array, whether it will be integer, character, double, float, whatever you write. And you write the array name. We have written ARR as the array name. And we give this square brackets. This is how array is defined. We'll explain this in detail whenever we jump into the VS Code. Okay. What does this continuous memory location means? It means if an array starts its address from 1024, then next address is going to be 1028 and next is going to be 1032. 4 will be added. Why 4? Because here it's of integer type and we already studied that integer are of 4 bytes. It means if 1024 is the first memory location of the first element, then for the second element it must be 1028. You cannot store that. Suppose you have stored 7 here and you want to skip this place, and you want to store 9 here. It is not possible. So whenever first element is stored in 1024, next element definitely will be stored in 1028 memory address. So this is the address of that array elements. First element, second, third, fourth, fifth. So these are the few things about array. What is this? this is the space given to the 7. 7 is the integer type. It means internally in the memory it has 4 bytes. 1, 2, 3, 4. It is of integer. That's why 4 bytes taken by 7. If we have written char, then it would have taken only 1 byte. As we know, character is of only 1 byte. Okay. Now we'll move to the next section of array. So what are the advantages of an array? So it is easy to manipulate data, code optimization, less code, we have to write less code, easy to traverse the data, random access, and easy to sort data. What are all these points means? We're going to study one by one each, and I'm going to take example whenever we jump to VS Code. Easy to manipulate data means we can change the data, that is whatever the type we are taking, suppose integer we are taking, we can store multiple numbers of things there in that array. Without using array, you can do the task, but you have to take numerous amount of variables, so that's an issue. So the array was defined that way. Code of optimization is there. What is less code we have to write? What does that mean? Suppose you want to store in a school, say there are 100 students and they have 7 different subjects, and you have to store all the subjects marks. So it's an issue. If you want to take all the variables, so it would have been 700 variables, so that's an issue. So you can directly store in an array. So array is a lots of, you can say it, collection of lots of variables that is defined inside the array. Easy to traverse the data. Traverse means whatever the elements are there, to access all the elements, that is what traversal is. Random access, you can access those array elements randomly with the index number. I'll get you through all the things what I'm trying to say here. Alright, let's move to next. Now we're going to learn about array initialization. Alright, so elements of an array can be initialized one by one using single elements. Here we have taken the array of float type. So this is how array is initialized. Alright, this is the type of the array, that is it's a float type. So only float elements will be stored. So that's why it is similar data type. That's why we write. So here it will be 50.0. Alright, now it's of size 5, right? So 5 elements, 5 is written, it means the array size is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, so this is what it's done. So here I can, without writing 50, I am writing 5.0. So this is considering as 5.0. Alright, so this is the array name, balance is the array name, and this indicates the size. So how we define that array? We define the array, we write the data type of that array, we write the array name, and in square brackets we give the size of the array equals to, and in curly braces we write all the data type, and that data type going to be similar. So here 5.0 will be there. So that is what array is. This is how we initialize an array. Alright, let's move to the next part. What is there? So number of values between braces cannot be larger than number of elements that we declare for an array between square brackets. What this sentence mean is, if you write 5, you cannot give 6 elements here. It means size of the array is 5, and that is fixed, that cannot be changed. That means that. Alright, now here this is the array it will look. Alright, so this is the array name, that is balance. This is the first element and index number is 0. I already told you guys that array index start from 0, then 1, 2, 3, 4 respectively. It means if an array have n elements, its last index is going to be n minus 1. Here array has 5 elements, so last index is n minus 1, that is 4. Alright, Now we'll go forward and see what are the types of arrays are there. So there are generally we write as two types of array. So first will be the single dimensional array and second one will be multi-dimensional array. So in single dimensional array, there will be one dimension. We'll be writing within one square bracket. So in multi-dimensional array, we basically study about 2D array. So we'll learn about that. So in single dimensional array has only one dimension. So there can be through as row or column. So this is initializing the array in by dynamically. So this will be studying whenever I will be teaching about the dynamic memory allocation. There I will be telling you about this. Now if I say that I take an array of suppose name as ARR. So how it is defined? So first one is called as the lower address. This is called as the lower address and last one is called the higher address. You don't need to remember these terms. So what you need to take care is that array index start from 0 and so on. And arrays address are continuously memory allocated. It means 1000 is there. If it is starting from 1000, then next will be 1004. And after that, next one will be 1008. Because these data types are what? Integer. So, and we know that integer takes 4 bytes. So, 4 bytes will be given for 6. It means 1000, 1001, 1002, 1003 and 1003 till 1003. It is given for 6 number, that is of integer type. And array of 0 means 6. This is what? Index. Array of 0, this is what? Index. Array of 1, that is 8. This is how we can access the array elements. Array of 4, that is value is 2. So this is how we can access the array elements. That is we are going to see. We'll jump to the VS Code and we'll try to solve this. We'll take numerous examples and see how to initialize an array, how to print elements of an array, and how to access those elements randomly that we already talked about. Now let's jump to the VS Code. Now we'll see the different examples of an array. For that, I'll create one folder here. So folder name is 4 and that is array. Alright. Now array folder is created. Now inside that array, I'll be writing one array.cpp. This is the folder name. Now we're going to initialize the array. We want to access the elements of an array, and how to initialize, how to declare, how to initialize, and how to access those elements. We're going to see that. All right. So what I have to write here is I have to write the header file. Hash include iostream using namespace std, and I have to write the main function as we write for the every code. So this is the basic template. It is done. Now inside the main we'll be writing the array. We'll be declaring the array and we'll be initializing the array with some values. Alright, so let's say we are taking the array of integer type. So I'm taking integer and array name is giving us ARR, and in the square bracket I'll be writing suppose 6 as the size. Now I'll give equals to, this is what till int ARR 6, this is what declaration. If I give semicolon here, this is what declaration of array of 6 size. It means in the memory, as array of 6 size will be given. It means you can store 6 variables there. So this is the basic advantage of an array. Alright. So 6 variables can be initialized, like can be declared directly without writing all the variables name. This is what array does. Alright. Now I have to initialize with, so that I have to write in curly braces. So let's say I want to enter some values to this elements. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 3. So 6 elements is done. So this is what? This is declaration and initialization of an array. So what is declaration? This part is declaration of array of size 6. And this is what initialization of an array is. First, 0th index is 5. First index is 6. Similarly, till 6 elements. So we have written size as 6. So 6 is given. Now we want to access these elements. So how to access the element? We access the elements using index number. So I'll say cout and I'll give what? The value at 0th index or first element is, because this is what 5 is the value at 0th index or the first element, isn't it? So if you want to access that, we already saw that how to access. We write the array name and in a square bracket we write the index number. So what is the index number of the first element? That is 0. So this is going to print the value of 0th index or the first element. Alright, now moving to next line. For the next, if you want to access the next element, that is value at first index or second element. How to access that? We need to access by giving array name and this square bracket and first. So this is how we're going to do that. Similarly, we're going to do for everyone. So for that, what I'll do is I'll just copy one line from here, Control C, and I'll paste it here. Let's paste again, paste this one and paste this one. So 6 elements we did. So I'll change from first to second here, second element, and I'll change second index. Now I'll change from second element to third element, and I'll change from 1 to 2 because these are the index. 2 index means what? 0, 1, 2, 7 values there. I'll change from 1 to here 3, third index, fourth index, and this is fifth index. Alright, this array has 6 elements and we know that last index is going to be n-1, that is 6 minus 1, that is 5. So everything is correct. Now I need to change this all the name. This is third index, or this is fourth element. This is what? Fifth element, and this is what? Sixth element, and this is what? Fourth index, and this is what? Fifth index. So this is all done. Like whatever that we want to access, these are what? Accessing elements from an array. These are what? Accessing elements. And ARR of 0th index, ARR of first index, ARR of second index, similarly ARR of fifth index. At the last, what we write? We write the return statement. Return 0. This will end our code. Now I'll save this code, Control S. Now I'll right click on run code. It will run and it will give our output. So you see the value at 0th index is 5. 5 is printed. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 3. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 3. Accordingly, numbers are getting printed. So whenever I am writing every element, so this is repetition of steps, isn't it? This is what? Repetition of steps again and again, writing same thing again and again. So we can replace with for loop. So we'll see that now. So that without writing all these elements like this cout statement every time, so we'll write everything in a for loop. We'll initialize the array and we'll write everything in a for loop. So that will do our task automatically. All right. So I'll take another program, that is to array for loop dot cpp. All right, hit enter. Now again what I have to do is include the header file, iostream, and after that I have to write the using namespace std, and I have to write the main function int main, and this is done. Right now what I said, we'll be writing the array and we'll be accessing from where? We'll be accessing from the for loop. So we don't have to write everything again and again, that cout statement. So let's initialize the array. So we're going to take integer type as the array, type of the integer, that is array. Array type is what? Integer. Then we're going to name that array as arr. You can name anything, and in the square bracket we're going to give the what is the size of that array. Let's say 5. Now here I'm going to, in curly braces, I'm going to initialize the array value. Let's say 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So these are the 5 elements I have given. Now I'll end it. This is what? This is declaration and initialization of that array. It means you are telling the compiler that array of size 5 give some space in the memory. It means 5 variables are getting stored internally. That is what array is. If you would have stored this, so without array, so you could have taken 5 variables. So that is a difficult task, isn't it? So we'll take what? We'll write cout statement here, and I will say that printing all the elements in a loop, and I'll endl, write endl, printing all the elements in a loop, and I'll write endl here. All right. Now after that, what I have to write? I have to write the for loop. So whatever we are writing here we are writing everything in what? Everything in cout statement, all the statements we are writing. So we can do that thing in for loop. For that, what I have to do is I have to write a for loop. So we already did that for loop, and I have to initialize the value int I equals to 0, because array index starts from 0 and I is less than 5. And what I have to write is I plus plus. This is updation we do. So this is how we're going to write it. So in cout statement, what I'm going to write is the elements of array at index. What is the index? That is, index is I. So I will write I, that will be printed. Value at index is going to be what? Value at index is going to be ARR of I. This is how we're going to print it. Now I'll end the whole statement. So here I is going to be printed. It means for 0th index, ARR of 0 is going to print, that is 4. For the first index, ARR of 1 is going to be printed, that is what? 5. So this statement will do our task. Whatever we are doing this, all the writing, all the cout statement, and if we write in the for loop, that will do our whole task. And at the last, I'll write return 0, that we generally do for every code. I'll hit Ctrl S and I'll right click and run the code. And after I run the code, printing all the elements at, so what I have to do is, here I have to take this return statement out of this for loop. I have written inside the for loop, right? So that is also getting executed. So I'll take this here and I'll save the code, Control S, and I'll right click, run the code. And when I run the code, now we getting the value. The elements of an array index 0 is, we have to give space here. If we give space, that will be more visible. Let's give some space here. All right. This will definitely solve our task. I'll Control S and I'll right click and run the code. Now, if you see, printing all the elements in a loop. The element of array at index 0, value at index is 4, right? This is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And this index is also getting printed 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is our result. We can do same thing with the for loop. So this is how to be done using for loop. Now we'll move to the next examples.